Now, I've never told this to anyone before, but I had a friend, or a rather close acquaintance, who worked on the Travel Channel as a gaffer for that show Bizzare Foods with Andrew Zimmern. Now, most folks with some sort of connection to a celebrity, even one like Andrew Zimmern, would eat up every opportunity they got to meet up with said celebrity. But not me. I knew that my friend wouldn't like me abusing our friendship. Plus, I personally dislike the show as I consider myself a pretty healthy guy, and I have a bit of a problem with shows that show that much eating. I really just think that's gross. Also, I really don't like fat people. There, I said it. I mean, really, who would want to watch a show about a fat bald man eating balls and penises? Anyway, my friend came over to the house the other day, but something was wrong. He rang my door really rapidly when he got there, and took no time to run in when I opened the door. He was wearing a Yankees hat, as per usual, but it looked like it had clay on it or something. He was really scaring me, breathing all heavy and stuff. He handed me a tape and vanished without a word. I was really confused now and thought maybe he was pulling a prank, as was his hobby in college when I first met him. Since I didn't want to fall prey to his prank, I left the tape on top of my television set and went to bed. That night, I couldn't sleep well. I kept having weird dreams. One of them was about a naked African shaman hopping around, boobs flapping in the wind. I thought this was indecent, but then I remembered I was in Africa and decided it was okay. Next, the dreams got stranger. I saw ancient Gaelic runes covering the walls of some rock tomb. In the middle of the tomb there were some witches, like the ones you see on Halloween, but their faces were like bad CGI. I tried to run away, but I just couldn't. Finally, in my last dream, I saw my friend in a coffin, still wearing his hat. It was horrible, but I didn't scream because I'm pretty used to having strange nightmares. After that, I woke up. I realized I had a fever, and because of it, I couldn't get back to sleep. I went downstairs to get some water, but I saw the tape and decided to watch it. I didn't know what time it was, but it didn't matter. I had a Red Bull, and I pressed play. I found out that the tape had a normal episode of Bizarre Foods. I didn't like what I saw, but I wanted to see how my friend's prank would unfold. The episode started as normal, with Andrew Zimmern providing a narration complete with lame jokes. It was a British Isles special. It was then that I remembered my friend had recently been over there shooting this very special. I wondered how he got this tape, as the special hadn't even aired on TV before. For about half an hour, Andrew went to dodgy little restaurants in England, Wales, Ireland, and finally Scotland. It was when he got to Scotland that things got spooky. After a scene where Zimmern ate a deep-fried pot of boot soup, it cut to a clip of the crew in their van. It didn't look edited, it looked real shaky, like the crew was accidentally recording, or something like that. I leaned in, now interested. The camera then angled on the center of the street, where everybody else was already pointing. In the middle of the road I saw a bad CG witch. Multiple bad CG witches. I rubbed my eyes and put down the Red Bull. I guess I thought I was hallucinating, otherwise I would have burned the tape right then. The only thing was, everybody was reacting to the hags on tape, which would have been very vivid hallucinations. The crew was very, very confused, but Andrew Zimmern just looked at them, without even blinking. "Everybody out," Andrew said calmly. The weirdest part was, the crew listened to him. Everybody got out. The witches beckoned to them with their bony fingers. Again, everyone listened. The only one who seemed to have a level head was my friend, who was now on camera, looking frightened. The witches then spoke. "This way, Now, if you could imagine that in a female Scottish accent, that would be just peachy. I will not be doing any Scottish accents anytime soon, because frankly, I don't like the Scots. They're right up there with fat people for me. But anywho, the crew started arguing violently. Punches were thrown. It was just brutal. Andrew was the only one who moved forward. It then cut to a clip of the witches cooking something in the pot. I couldn't tell where all of this was taking place. I couldn't imagine such people still living in the modern world. Yet there they were. Andrew Zimmern then came into frame. He tasted the broth from the pot, without narration or commentary. He just nodded his head. There was something maniacal about him. For a second, I swear I saw his head turn CG, just like the witches. What kind of druid ritual was this? Suddenly, the camera panned over to the crew, huddled in a corner, terrified. The guy who usually holds the boom mic was gone, and everyone else was covered in blood. My friend had some on his Yankees hat. The camera panned over to the pot in which bones rose to the surface, human bones. And then, the icing on the cake, I saw the furry tip of the microphone float to the surface of the stew. It was then that I realized that Andrew Zimmern was eating his own crew, the most bizarre food of all. Human. It was like a cannibal's wet dream. It was the grossest thing I'd ever seen, and I'd seen a lot of weird videos, most of them on YouTube. I almost shut it off then and there, but some strange trance compelled me to keep watching. It went on like this for another 20 minutes. The camera was obviously on a tripod or something because the witches killed off the crew one by one by putting them into the giant pot, one by one. Just as I saw them grab my friend, it cut to a black. It stayed that way for another 10 minutes. That was it. I was so scared that I immediately called my friend, or acquaintance rather, but he didn't pick up. Yet 20 minutes later he was at my house, ringing the doorbell. I opened the door for him, and this time he was eager to talk.
Did you see it?
He asked. Yeah, I said, then added, How'd you escape?
I don't know, friend. I don't know.
Acquaintance, I said. Should we call the cops? I asked. Before he could answer, we heard something coming from the kitchen. I rushed in with a wiffle ball bat in hand, and was absolutely shocked at what I saw. It was Andrew Zimmern with a complete CG head, eating a deep-fried boot at my table. I got a good backswing going, as I wanted nothing more than to murder that fat, bald bastard. But before I could swing, my friend grabbed my back. He then put me in a chokehold and started leading me towards Andrew, who was now licking his lips with a blocky, bad CG tongue. Just in time, I remembered a move I learned in karate when I was 8, and slung my ex-friend over my shoulder. He landed on the table and splashed some fryer grease onto Andrew's face, which started to melt. After that, I ran as fast as I could, the fastest I've ever run in my life. After this run, I made it to my neighbor's house. I knew where she kept her keys, under a rock in her rock wall, and I used them to get in. I didn't know if she was home. I didn't care. I logged on to her computer because I also knew her password, and started typing this story. As I write, I can hear banging on the door and the grumbling of a very loud and hungry stomach. I don't want to be Andrew's next bizarre dish. I want to live. But maybe dying quickly will be better. I'm going upstairs now. I'll gain access to my neighbor's safe using your key, take the handgun I know is in there, and end it all. God help me. God help any fans of bizarre foods with Andrew Zimmern.